All right, today we're tackling one of the absolute biggest risks in your digital life, identification and authentication failures. Now I know that sounds super technical, so forget the jargon for a second. This is really all about something we do every single day, proving we are who we say we are online. So let's dive right in.
So let me just ask you this straight up. How secure is your digital front door? I mean, think about it. Every app, every website, every single service you use has one. The real question is, how strong is the lock you've put on it?
You know, it's funny. You would never ever secure your actual home with a flimsy little latch or, hide the key under the welcome mat. So why on earth do we do the digital version of that all the time? Using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a password? That is leaving the key under the mat. Skipping two-factor authentication? That's like not having a deadbolt. It's the exact same idea, but honestly, the stakes online can be so much higher.
Okay, so first up, your digital front door. Let's get on the same page and really understand what it is we're trying to protect here. At its heart, this is all about verifying who you are online. So an authentication failure happens when a website or an app just gets that verification wrong, when it can't be 100% sure that you are who you claim to be. And that is the crack in the door that lets an attacker slip right past, grab your digital keys, and just walk around your online life pretending to be you. It's a huge deal.
All right, Section 2, how the locks break. So how do these digital locks actually fail? Let's take a look at the most common ways our security falls apart, and you might be surprised how many of them are actually pretty easy to prevent.
And the number one cause, by a country mile, is simply allowing bad passwords. It's the most basic mistake in the book, and it's also the most common one out there. So what are the warning signs of a weak lock? Well, if a service lets you use a super short password, or if it allows something obvious like password 123, or if it doesn't check against a huge list of known stolen passwords, it's basically just handing out flimsy, useless locks to every single one of its users.
But it's not just about the password. Think about this. After you log in, you're given a kind of a temporary key. It's called a session token that keeps you logged in while you click around. If that key isn't protected, well, the lock on the front door doesn't even matter. An attacker can just snatch that key right out of the air. And way too often, these temporary keys are just left totally unattended. A session key that's easy to guess, that's like writing the combination on the lock itself. If the key isn't destroyed when you log out, or if it just never expires, that's the digital version of leaving your house key on a table at a coffee shop for anyone to just pick out.
Okay, so Section 3, picking the locks. We've seen how they break. Now let's flip the script and put on our black hat. How do attackers actually go about exploiting these weaknesses and picking these broken digital locks?
The first method is really just pure, relentless effort, the brute force attack. An attacker just points a script at your username and it starts guessing passwords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, password, QWERTY, running through millions of combinations a minute until bam, one of them hits. It's like a robot trying every single key in the world on your front door until it finds the one that fits. But that brute force method, it can be slow. The second method is way more common, and frankly, a whole lot more efficient for the bad guys. It's called credential stuffing. And here's the really crucial part to understand. With credential stuffing, attackers aren't even really guessing anymore. They take these massive lists of usernames and passwords that were stolen from other data breaches, and they just try them on your account. They're betting that the key you used for some old forum back in 2010 is the exact same key you use for your bank today. And the scary part is, way too often, they win that bet. Okay, so Section 4, building a digital fortress. We've seen the problem, we know how bad it can be, so let's talk about the solutions. How do we go from a flimsy latch to a real digital fortress? The good news is, all the tools we need are already right here. It really all starts with the fundamentals, strong passwords. And look, a strong password isn't just about throwing in a symbol or a number. It's about length. You should really be aiming for 12 characters or more. And this is the most important part. It has to be unique for every single site. This is exactly where a password manager becomes your best friend. Seriously. But the single most effective defense you can possibly use is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. If your password is the lock on the door, think of MFA as the heavy-duty deadbolt. Even if an attacker somehow steals your key, your password, they still can't get in without that second factor, which is something only you have, like your phone. It's a game changer. And you've got options for that deadbolt. Authenticator apps and those little physical hardware keys, they're the gold standard. They're tied right to your device. SMS codes are, well, they're better than nothing, for sure, but they can be intercepted. And no matter which one you choose, please save your backup recovery codes somewhere safe. You will thank yourself later.
You know, a system is only as strong as its weakest link, and often that's the forgot my password page. A secure reset has to verify it's you before sending anything. Then it sends a totally unique, one-time use link that dies after about 15 minutes. And here's the final crucial step. Once you've changed the password, the system has to automatically kick out every other active session. That slams the door shut on any intruders.
Now, to see what happens when all of this goes wrong, we don't have to look very far. The LinkedIn breach from 2012 is just a perfect and pretty painful case study of what not to do.
The initial number was just mind-blowing. 6.5 million. That's how many user password hashes, basically scrambled versions of passwords, were stolen and just dumped online for everyone to see. It was a complete and total failure of that digital front door for millions and millions of people.
So what went so horribly wrong? Well, first, their password storage was the digital equivalent of a lock made of glass. Super easy to break. There was no deadbolt, no MFA was offered. They also didn't lock accounts after too many failed login attempts, which is just like letting a burglar stand at your front door and try keys all day long. They basically failed on every single important level.
The huge fallout from breaches like this one forced the entire tech industry to get a lot smarter fast. These are lessons that were learned the hard way. The modern security standards we kind of take for granted now, like strong password protection, MFA everywhere, and automatic account lockouts, they were all built on the ashes of massive failures just like this one.
Which, of course, brings us all the way back to you. After seeing how these locks can break and how a real fortress is built, it's probably time to do a little security checkup on your own digital life. So the question is still there. Are your digital doors secured with steel deadbolts, or are they just flimsy little latches waiting to be broken?